Hey folks, thanks for checking out Reigniting Liberty. I'm Deneen Borelli, and Dr. Tom Borelli is in the house, bringing you the truth in black and white. So folks, the Democrats are circling the wagons for Joe and Hunter Biden. I mean, literally, they are circling the wagons. Democrats are gearing up for the Republicans as they take control of the House of Representatives. And as always, Democrats are on the offense, and they are actively plotting and scheming to slam Republicans in the new Congress, Dr. Tom. So we've been looking into this. Some of this is just really eye-opening, Dr. Tom, but their first target is to protect Hunter Biden and to stop any negative information from getting to the father, Joe Biden, President Biden, Daddy. Any info to get to Daddy. Yes. And it's not about the truth. It's about keeping power. Daddy. Don't forget that. Daddy. Democrats do indeed have a very sophisticated propaganda machine. They are constantly cranking out propaganda, and they do it extremely well, yes, whether you want to admit it or not, Dr. Tom. And the goal is to manipulate people, is to manipulate your thoughts and to manipulate your behavior. Yeah, the
old Count Dracula routine.
Right?
Look into my eyes.
Come here.
Come here, Van Helsing. Come here.
We'll have to watch that soon.
Yeah.
Well, folks, in this episode of Reigniting Liberty, we'll discuss the Democrats' plans to protect Hunter and Daddy, Joe Biden, and how they are going to do it and what it means going forward. Dr. Tom, give us a little background on this.
Sure, Deneen. Well, here's the background. It's no secret the Republicans are going to launch a big investigation of Hunter Biden surrounding the information in his laptop. We know that. Republican Kentucky Representative James Comer, who's the incoming chairman of the House Oversight Committee, held a news conference on November 17, and he discussed Hunter Biden and Joe Biden. Here's what Representative Comer said, quote, "To be clear, Joe Biden is the big guy. This evidence raises troubling questions about whether President Biden is a national security risk and about whether he is compromised by foreign governments. That's the risk, that Biden is compromised because of the business dealings of his son, Hunter. That is the big concern. Obviously, when you're talking about foreign governments, which one comes to mind? Ding, 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 ding. China.
Yeah.
China. That comes to mind. Well, one area of the investigation will look into Hunter Biden's business deals with CEFC China Energy. Could you imagine that? China Energy. Well, this is from the Washington Post. Over the course of 14 months, the Chinese energy conglomerate and its executives paid $4.8 million to entities controlled by Hunter Biden and his uncle. How come?
Shocker, huh?
My uncle never I never got $4.8 million from anybody. Unbelievable.
And you ain't gonna.
No, not at this rate. The biological clock is ticking on Dr. Borelli. Shortly after Joe Biden left the vice presidency, Hunter Biden discussed business opportunities with CEFC in the United States with its founder and chairman, Yi Xiaoming. Of interest was a business deal for a $40 million joint venture to produce liquefied natural gas in Louisiana. So he got Hunter and his uncle working a deal with China to do what? To produce fossil fuel energy in the United States so it could go where? To China, right? You fast forward now, And Biden, Joe Biden, the president, is anti-fossil fuels. He wants to stop it all.
Right.
But what was he doing with his son? Well, they kind of like China when it came to $4.8 million in some sort of business deal. But here's more from the Washington Post. The deal failed. Well, what can you say? But 4.8 million, I think, still remained with the Bidens, right? That's a pretty good business deal, by the way, right? You can get 4.8 million and do nothing.
It's huge.
It goes on. But Yi was so pleased with the initial meeting with Hunter Biden that after the dinner, he sent a 2.8 carat diamond to Hunter's hotel room with a card thanking him for the conversation. And that was according to the New Yorker.
That's a lot of rock.
Yeah, I don't know. What's your rock?
I don't know. It's bigger than my.
Dr.
We gotta have
slack.
We got to have a sit down, Dr. Borelli. I don't know.
Borelli's slacking again, huh? 2.8.
I'm gonna put you on notice. Anyone out there? 2.8? going once?
Going, sold. Right? Imagine having a meeting with somebody and as a reward, even though the deal failed, right?
Yeah.
I wonder what that's worth, by the way.
It's outrageous.
Lots of money. Now, why would China be doing that sort of stuff with the Bidens? Let me think.
Well, that's a great question, Dr. Tom. Well, most recently, members of the House Committee on Oversight and Reform told Fox News that they were going to investigate Hunter's business deals with a company linked to the Chinese Communist Party. The company, the Harvey's Group, is run by Francis Person. Now, Person was part of the Obama administration.
Of course.
Okay, everything, the plot just thickens. Yeah, the swamp.
The swamp. This is the way it works, boys and girls out there. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is the way it works. You get an administration, you step out, and you become a head of a company that's basically backed by the communist Chinese, but nothing to see here. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, right. Just keep it moving. Well, the story reports soon after Person became the president of Harvey's Group in 2015, now follow me, he contacted Hunter and invited him to meet with Bo Zhang, founder of the company, and he is linked to high-ranking communist Chinese officials. You got that so far? We're trying to connect these dots here, and it's never ending, but I'll continue. Hunter and his business partner did meet with Zhang in Washington, D.C. a number of times, it's reported, Dr. Tom. Hunter's former private equity company, Rosemont Seneca Advisors, had a 5% stake in the Harvey's Group businesses.
So you have...
Yeah, go ahead.
You have this company that is linked to this guy who's linked to the Chinese party.
Yes.
In China, and Hunter makes an investment in this company.
Is
Biden family.
Yes.
Company, Communist China. 3 dots.
But nothing to see here.
Straight line.
Yeah.
Don't even need a ruler for that one.
No, no, you don't. You don't need the dots either. It's just all there for you. Why am I laughing? Anyway, Person and Zhang also both attended a White House holiday reception in December of 2015. So it's the same year, right? Person claimed that Rosemont Seneca Advisors did not have any equity stake in Harvey's Group, but emails speak otherwise. So you have Republican Louisiana Representative Clay Higgins. He said this, and I quote, "The investigation into the Biden family's financial ties to the Chinese Communist Party and any potential corruption will be one of the many investigations conducted next year." End quote, Dr. Tom.
Deneen, of the many things that's maddening about this, remember they were all over President Trump for a fake link to Russia because the claim was that Russia had compromising information on President Trump, and therefore his policies were friendly to Russia because he was afraid they were going to blackmail him. He was compromised. Well, that's total nonsense because we know that was all Hillary Clinton's plan anyway, to throw this Russia collusion claim out there. And the FBI and the DOJ at the time were all over that. But yet President Trump's policies were very pro-American, American first, including American first energy, which is the worst thing that Putin wants for Russia. They don't want us to be energy independent. Now look what they got. They got what they wanted with Biden.
Yep.
But that was the claim. But again, what Democrats always say, they always do. What they accuse you of doing, they are actually doing. It's Biden who may be compromised.
Right.
With China.
And we'll soon find out, I hope. Yeah.
Well, here's more information. The Republicans will also investigate the almost 150 suspicious activity reports sent to the Treasury Department from American banks about Hunter Biden's business deals. So what this means is when Hunter was transferring money from around the world, he had to make a deposit in the bank, and the bank set off the alarms. There's a law or rule that says if you see strange money coming in big amounts or whatever, that needs to be investigated. Not once, not twice, but almost 150 times. I think the real number is 148 suspicious activity reports. So who has those reports now? Who has Janet Yellen, and she's sitting on them.
Literally.
Literally, right, I'm sure. So if that was me or you, any of our listeners or viewers with one suspicious activity report, we'd have the knock on the door, it'd be the FBI. And for us, I don't think there'd be a knock. There would be a ba-boom door opening with one of those ramming rods. Anyway, this is what Republicans are going to investigate. And clearly there's a lot to investigate here. But most concerning is the possibilities discussed that our adversary, China, has compromising information on Joe Biden and Hunter's business deals. And that's preventing, this is the important part, that's preventing President Biden from challenging policies that would challenge China. Maybe he's silent on many things because he's afraid of what China has either on Hunter or all of them.
Yep.
That's
Biden
the concern.
Inc.
Right.
Biden Inc. Yeah.
They have the full dossier on Biden Inc. That is, the Chinese do, not the fake Steele dossier. Again, but let's throw out a policy that is concerning that we should be investigating or not. How about why isn't the White House pushing for an investigation into the origins of the SARS-CoV-2 virus? You know, the one that most likely and most probably leaked from a lab in China. Why isn't the Biden White House all over that? You know, Deneen, that there's a bipartisan effort actually in Congress, bipartisan, where they want to investigate that. And guess what? The White House doesn't want it.
Sure.
I wonder why. This is the concern that we're talking about here. Evidence on Hunter Biden's laptop sure points that Joe Biden, the president, was connected to the family business, right? Remember the 10% for the big guy in one of the emails in Hunter's laptop. And according to former business partner of Hunter Biden, Tony Bobulinski, 10% for the big guy meant 10% for Joe Biden.
Daddy.
Now, also remember that Joe Biden, on numerous occasions, denied he had any knowledge of Hunter's business deal. He didn't know anything, yet, roll back the videotape and pictures. What do you see? You see Joe Biden, Hunter, and a variety of Hunter's business partners in photographs.
But not only would he deny it, he would get angry and very testy when he was confronted with the same question over and over again. And point his fingers and just be just really nasty when he would be confronted about it, which is really interesting to see
Telling, I
anytime
think.
it happened. Yeah, very telling. So, Dr. Tom, what do Democrats and their allies do when they know there's going to be investigations, high profile investigations on Hunter and President Biden? Well, like I said at the beginning, they circle the wagons, but not only that, they start firing right away. They are putting up the shields, the blockers, bringing out the phasers, do a little Star Trek here, bringing out the phasers. They're bringing out everything they
The
possibly
bazookas.
can. Right. So check this out from the Washington Post. Quote, some Hunter Biden allies making plans to go after his accusers. An array of groups is preparing to defend the president's son against an expected GOP onslaught, but they lack a unifying strategy, end quote. So they're bringing out all the guns, all the artillery that they possibly can. And the story says Hunter's friend and lawyer, Kevin Morris, who was considering filing defamation lawsuits against Hunter's critics. That's one conclusion from a strategy session that was held last September. So they've been strategizing from day one here. Oh my
Planning
goodness.
and scheming. I think you said that in the intro.
Plotting and scheming, yeah. So the potential targets, Fox News, Eric Trump, Rudy Giuliani.
The usual suspects.
Yeah. And two possible witnesses against Hunter Biden. A former business partner named Tony Bobolinsky and the computer repairman named John Paul Mac Isaac, who had the laptop or laptops that Hunter left at his shop. And when all of this, I guess a year or so passed and he turned them over to the FBI, and
FBI did nothing with them
because, they did nothing with it. But all of this information got out to the public. And then you have the liberal activist, Dr. Tom, David Brock, who was also at the planning meeting. He said he's going to put up a new group, like the left needs more groups. The group is called Facts First USA.
So right off the bat, facts first.
Facts first.
If you're being honest, it's propaganda first USA.
Facts First
Facts
USA.
First, right. So they're the branding right off the bat from Facts First. Oh, that means that must be accurate, right? Oh, yeah.
And this group is to fight the Republican investigation of Hunter Biden. So Brock, he is the founder of Media Matters. I'm sure he may sound familiar to some people. Well, he described Facts First USA as a SWAT team, a SWAT team to address information from the congressional investigations. A SWAT team, Dr. Tom.
Right.
Wow. All right. What else do I have here? Well, the New York Times reported Facts First USA wants $5 million a year to fund its SWAT team to fight Republicans on topics that can't be addressed by the White House. That's probably Hunter Biden issues. So the story adds the Democratic National Committee and the White House are planning to weigh in to protect the president. A whole SWAT team, Dr. Tom, an army. It's an ambush.
Yeah, they are planning.
They don't want the truth to get out.
No. Truth, don't get distracted here. No. This is to serve and protect the Bidens. That's basically it. It is just unbelievable the way they can come. They click their fingers and all of a sudden, boom, all these groups come up with an agenda. And the
lots of money.
agenda is to protect the Bidens by going on offense against the Republicans and the two individuals that may testify against Hunter. Boy, those two individuals are going to get dragged through the mud. This is what they're about. And there's more. And three other outside groups, let's keep counting, has stepped up to provide rapid response and other communications. So you have the SWAT team, now we have other groups doing rapid response and communications.
Wow.
Quote, one Democratic-leaning group, the Congressional Integrity Project. There you go again. Facts first, Congressional Integrity Project. Here we go. Has circulated a memo based on 6 online focus groups. Right? Left is out there doing focus groups on terminology and communication messages. This is actually from the New York Times as well. And this memo, again, based on 6 online focus groups arguing that swing voters already see the planned Republican investigation as, quote, political stunts intended to damage the president. So they got these focus groups, and they're really starting to shape the message. This isn't about whether or not China has information on Joe Biden and the other Bidens. No. This is about bad Republicans, right? Political stunts. See nothing as the old Wizard of Oz, right? Pay no attention to the man getting millions of dollars from China. Pay no attention. It's a Republican political stunt. These are the terminologies and the terms that the Democrats are now in process of using. A second document from the Congressional Integrity Project lists a set of phrases it says Democrats and their allies should use against the House investigations, including, here are the terms, power hungry, Trump playbook. Of course, President Trump had to get in there, right? Trump bad, Trump orange man bad, Trump playbook bad, quote, partisan warfare, and, quote, the best of all, MAGA Republicans.
Oh, of course.
There go the MAGA Republicans again in the House. You see, you give them power, what do? They attack poor President Biden over partisan politics because the man is a victim. The man has been a fraud and lied over how many decades, but he's a victim and he needs to be protected from the Congressional Integrity Project. But again, the bottom line here is the Democrats have a very sophisticated game. They're out there doing focus groups to figure out which terms they could use the most or most harmful to Republican investigations of the president and Hunter. This is what they do. And remember, we talked about this in a prior episode with the MAGA Republicans. Right. That was a term that they had focus grouped. One of the departments had focus group where MAGA Republicans and extreme MAGA Republicans was deemed very negatively by swing voters.
Right.
So they play a very sophisticated, intelligent game in terms of, and you mentioned it before, this is about manipulating, if not twisting, the minds of Americans who are trying to struggle in this high inflation environment. They're just going to hear these terms, and these terms are connecting to some sort of meaning in the minds of the public. And this is what it's all about. Twist the minds and don't get to the truth. And again, it's going to be Bobolinsky and the repairman, John Paul Mac Isaac, are going to be the targets of this mudslinging. And just remember, this happens all the time. Remember what they did during the Kavanaugh hearings, right? The nomination hearings. Remember that?
Yep.
What they did, they dragged this woman up from who knows where.
Went after his family.
Right. Well, that's afterwards, but right. I think Kavanaugh was crying. His wife was really upset. They out there to destroy people. And this is what they do. And this is what the American public are going to be seeing. They're going to do everything to distract, and they're doing the hard work now, and they got the big money now to distract from the real issue of whether or not President Biden was involved in a influence peddling scheme with Biden Inc., where his son and his uncle used daddy's access, daddy's position in government to make money for Team Biden. And the Democrats don't want that to happen.
And I'll throw in there allegedly, because it's still it will be under investigation.
Well, that's what you said. Right. Yeah, right.
I can't say it with a straight face, but I'll say it. Anyway, continue.
I shall continue. And now there's another news story. So we have the Washington Post, the New York Times, and now Politico. 3 publications talking about the Democrat smear machine or their propaganda machine that's coming up. Now, this is from Politico. Quote, the title, Investigating the Investigators. You see, I'll start over because I get distracted. Investigating the Investigators. Dem strategists to launch counterpunch to House GOP. It's no secret what they're up to. And this is why we're doing this podcast on this topic, because many people didn't know this is going on. In fact, I didn't know this was going on until we started to do our own research, and now we're bringing it to you. So this is from Politico. The newly relaunched Congressional Integrity Project will include a rapid response, investigative researchers, pollsters, and eventually paid media designed to put Republicans on the defensive. So again, the concern here is that President Biden and his family used his position to make money. That is the concern. But what are Democrats about to do? They're flipping the script, as you always say. It's the Republicans who are the problem. Investigate the investigators.
Right. The Republicans are the bad guys.
Right.
Well, David Brock, getting back to him, he's actually leaving Media Matters and America Bridge 21st Century Organizations. So many organizations, but anyway. From Fox News, Dr. Tom, left-wing activist David Brock exits anti-free speech operations to help Biden against congressional probes. Brock's radical left-wing operations have long attempted to silence conservatives. Now, here's a statement about Brock from American Bridge 21st Century Organization, the co-founder, Bradley Baychok. There is no other way to say it. David Brock is a visionary who reshaped the landscape of the democratic ecosystem with organizations like American Bridge, 21st Century, and Media Matters. From its inception, Bridge has been doing the work of holding Republicans accountable, not just in election years, but all the time. This organization has found a way to weaponize research and tracking tools to build narratives and win elections with remarkable effectiveness. Baychok continued. David has always found a way to have an important impact. End quote. End of his statement. Boy, flowers and butterflies and
look,
sunshine. Whoa.
They're not shy.
No.
They're winning. They're using sophisticated systems and focus groups, and they got tons of money, and they keep doing the victory laps.
Yes.
And let me just go back to the Politico story, because here's another quote with respect to the Congressional Integrity Project. Here,
oh,
quote,
boy.
The Congressional Integrity Project is also aiming to raise funds for paid media campaign, including dedicated websites, digital ads, mobile billboards, whatever that is, newspaper ads, and occasionally TV ad buys. Boy, talk about a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
The quote continues, its public opinion research will be shared with like-minded organizations and congressional allies to contrast the GOP investigations with issues the American public cares about, project leaders said. So again, the size and the scope of this is shocking. It is totally shocking.
And we're surrounded.
Focus groups, ads, billboard ads, again, whatever the hell that is, digital ads. We're going to be inundated. You thought the ads were bad during the campaign for like the midterm elections? They're going to do another one. This is a campaign again. This is a campaign to smear Republicans and Bobulinski and the computer repairman. This is what this is all about. And they have endless sources of money to execute this plan.
And the number of bodies that they need to execute it as well. It's a serious ground game. A propaganda machine. I think we said that earlier. So Dr. Tom, let's talk about outside groups. What is their real goal?
Well, their goal is to manipulate the minds of the public. We talked about it. They have these focus groups. They're going to get the right terminology, and then with that terminology, they're going to pump it out through ads, give it to their congressional allies, give it to the White House. So it's going to be that same message track. They're going to come up with the same terms that you're going to see that's going to be driven right through the media. This is exactly what they do. They press a button, bam, go. And the same words, the same terminology is going to be out there. The end game, again, is to manipulate the minds of the public. This is what they do very well. We got to wake up.
Well, you recently wrote a commentary for Newsmax Insiders, and folks can see it at newsmax.com, and it's about the Democrat mob attacking Elon Musk and Twitter, and how they basically want to kill Twitter by killing advertising revenue, because that would kill Twitter. But tell us about your commentary.
Yeah, Denise, it's another example of the way Democrats and their left-wing groups work together to drive a message. In this instance, all of a sudden, Twitter's bad because Musk has it. He wants free speech, so they can't compete on a free speech environment. So what they need to do is they need to bankrupt Twitter by going after the advertisers. And did a little research, a lot of research in my commentary, and there's something like over 60 groups.
Back 60. To these groups again, yeah.
The names of these groups are just twisted too. 60 groups, about 60 groups that are telling advertisers that you should not advertise on Twitter. And they've been very successful. Twitter gets about 90% of its revenue from advertisers. And even Musk himself saying that the advertisers are starting to fall away and it's starting to hurt the revenue for the company. Democrats play to win. They will do anything for power. And they have so much money. And this is another example of what they're doing with Twitter. They're out to bankrupt it because free speech is a problem. And they got the propaganda machine. They got that Democrat machine that's out there and executing that plan.
Yeah, and it's massive. It really is. All these different groups, organizations, money, and boots on the ground. It is massive. And the bottom line is your thoughts and beliefs, they are the target of the Democrat machine. They don't want you to be independent thinkers. They want you to do as they say. And they do a lot of work on messaging to figure out how to manipulate your thoughts and how to manipulate your behavior. Doesn't matter what age you are, too. I mean, it from schools on up. It is a massive, massive machine. And it's a very sophisticated game that the Democrats are playing, the left are playing, the progressives, very sophisticated, ton of money. And they are making these changes happen for sure, right before our very eyes on a regular daily basis. And you know what? Republicans don't do this, Dr. Tom. They don't have this sophisticated type of advocacy. And this is one of the reasons why we are losing on so many levels.
No, that's right. The Democrats, as I just said, they play to win. They have a system and they execute their system and then they brag about it. And meanwhile, Republicans, what are they doing? Not much. There's a number of great Republican think tank groups, public policy groups. They don't have nearly the resources that the Democrats do. And we don't even come close with the advocacy groups that keep driving this message. But this is why we're doing this episode on Reigniting Liberty, because not many people will talk about things, but not why things are happening. We dig a little deeper so you understand not what's happening, but why it's happening and how it's happening. These are the issues that need to be addressed for us really to save liberty today in 2022.
Indeed. Well, folks, thanks for checking out Reigniting Liberty. And remember, everyone has a role to play. What are you doing for liberty? Until next time.